Now I know what y'all were thinking. I was gonna start off this book with in West Philadelphia, born and raised, not with stories of domestic abuse and violence. I was tempted. I mean, how could I not be? I'm a make-believer, and not just any old make-believer. I'm a legendary bad boy, man in black kind of make-believer. I'm a movie star. My first impulse is always to clean up the truth in my mind, to make it better, to shine it up a little bit so it doesn't hurt as much. I redesign it and replace it with whatever suits me, or really whatever suits you. I'm a crowd pleaser. It's my actual job. The truth is whatever I decide to make you believe, and I will make you believe it. That's what I do. I'm a master storyteller. I thought about showing you the pretty me, a flawless diamond, a swaggy, unbreakable winner, a fantasy image of a successful human being. I'm always tempted to make believe. I live in an ongoing war with reality. Of course, there's the red carpet walking, fly car driving, tight fade wearing, box office record breaking, hot chick marrying, I am legend pull up doing jiggy ass Will Smith. And then there's me. This book is about me. Hi. Hello. It has been a while. Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Shauna's Corner, where it is lovely in this corner of the internet. I hope you are having an average day. Joking, I hope you're having a lovely day. All right, don't get so sensitive. There's no need to be so sensitive. I'm just saying, I hope you have a lovely day. You misheard me, okay? So this episode is called Thank You and Goodnight, and it is a collection of monologues from different places. There's no particular theme running through them. They're just speeches or poems or monologues that I've seen in films or performed by performers that I really love. So I've had a kind of like epiphany where someone once told me what you did when you were younger is a good measure for what you're good at and where your roots lie. And before I was ever a writer, before I ever did spoken word poetry or even considered it as a career path, I was a performer. So my favorite subject throughout from primary school up until college was acting. The most recent qualification I obtained was from college, and that was a distinction star in BTEC acting, the college I went to in Luton. Now, I find myself kind of thinking a lot about being on stage and being a performer, and it's something in my life that I would like to definitely revisit. As such, I thought that a good introduction to bringing that side of myself to the podcast would be to do this particular episode, Thank You and Goodnight. So this will be mostly uncut. There will be no music and no sound effects. So if you want to listen to something that kind of has that vibe, feel free to click on any of the other episodes. But I want this one to be as real and raw and honest so that you can really hear me as much as I can disappear into the characters I'm portraying. So the first monologue was taken from Will Smith's memoir Will, which is from page 17. I believe the chapter is called Fantasy, and it is chapter 2, so it's near the opening of the book. The next monologue I would like to perform is Olivia Gatwood's poem Ode to the Women of Long Island. So settle in, get ready. This is Olivia Gatwood's Ode to the Women of Long Island. I want to write a poem for the women on Long Island who smoke cigarettes in their SUVs with the windows rolled up before walking into yoga, who hack and curse in Downward Dog, and Deborah from the next block over, who has strong opinions about Christmas lights after New Year's, says her body isn't what it used to be, but neither is the economy or the bagels at Rickman's Deli, so who really cares? And during Shavasana, she brings up the rabbi's daughter who got an abortion last spring, and Candy in the corner calls Deborah hateful. And the class take a sharp inhale through the nose and then out through the mouth. And after class, after Candy rushes home to check the lasagna, Deborah lights up a smoke and calls her friend Tammy. So then the girl calls me hateful. Hateful, can you believe it? What a word. Some kind of dictionary bitch over here. So you know what I says? I says, you don't know the first thing about hateful. You want to know what's hateful? Menopause. And it doesn't really matter if Deborah actually said that to Candy, which she didn't, because Tammy is so caught up that Candy called Deborah hateful, which she did, that next week when Tammy runs into Candy while shopping in Rockville Center and Candy asks Tammy how she's doing, Tammy will adjust the purse strap on her shoulder and say, "We all have a little coil in our stocking, Candy." And Candy will shuffle away, certain that Tammy knows something about her marriage that she shouldn't, and she doesn't. She just loves Deborah, who has a lot of opinions, and had Candy given her the chance to finish her sentence, Deborah would have talked about the reproductive rights march she went to in the 60s and the counterproductive sex-shaming methods of organized religion. I want to write a poem for the women on Long Island whose words stretch and curl like bubblegum around the forefinger, who ask if I have a boyfriend, and before I answer say, "Don't do it. Don't ever do it. You know my friend Linda, she's a lesbian, like a real lesbian. And whenever I go over there," she lives by Corona, over by Merrick, by the laundry, you know what I'm talking about? And whenever I go over there and I see her and her wife, what's her name? I can never remember the girl's name. Anyway, whenever I go over there, I says, you know what I need? I says, a girlfriend, that's what I need. The women on Long Island let their teenage daughters throw parties in the basement while they watch the Home Network upstairs and keep a bat by the couch in case anyone gets roofied. Even if it's their own sons who did the drugging, the women on Long Island won't put it past any man to be guilty, even their kin, who after all have their husband's hands and blood, and last week when a girl was murdered while jogging in Queens. The women on Long Island were unstartled and furious. They did not call to warn their daughters. They called their sons, sat them at the kitchen table and said, "If you ever, and I mean ever, so much as make a woman feel uncomfortable, I will take you to the deli and I'll put your hand in the meat slicer. You think I won't? You hear me? I will make a hero out of you with mayonnaise and tomatoes and dill and onions." I want to write a poem for the women on Long Island who, when I show them the knife I carry in my purse, tell me it's not big enough, who are waitresses and realtors and massage therapists and social workers and housewives, and tell me they wish they would have been artists. But life comes fast, you know? 1 minute you're taking your typing classes for your new secretary job at the World Trade Center, and next is almost over. Life, I mean. But I kicked and screamed my way through it, and so will you. I can tell by the way you walk. One more thing. When they call you a bitch, say thank you. Thank you very much. I love that poem. It's such a good poem. It's so witty and so funny. And it couldn't be Olivia Gatwood without having those themes of like feminism running through it. The depiction of strong women, and also the trauma and the pain they have to put up with in the meantime. And that also that conflict between traditional ideas of, you know, what it means to be a woman and this other waging war of what it means to be a feminist at the same time. The next monologue or excerpt from a movie that I'm going to perform is Taraji P. Henson as Katherine Johnson in Hidden Figures. I feel like I want to give context, but I won't. I'll let you just hear the monologue as it was performed. There's no bathroom for me here. There is no bathroom. There are no colored bathrooms in this building or any building outside the West Campus, which is half a mile away. Did you know that? I have to walk to Timbuktu just to relieve myself, and I can't use one of their handy bikes. Picture that, Mr. Harrison. My uniform, skirt below my knees, my heels, and a simple string of pearls. Well, I don't own pearls. Lord knows you don't pay coloreds enough to afford pearls. And I work like a dog, day and night, living off coffee from the pot none of you want to touch. So, excuse me if I have to go to the restroom a few times a day. Okay, so we've arrived at the last excerpt or monologue. I feel like I want to leave you with that last monologue, that to be the, you know, the concluding section of this episode of the podcast. So thank you for being with me for as long as you've been here. If this is your first episode, welcome. If you've been here for a while and you've been listening to every episode and you've been DMing me or texting me about what you think and what you feel, thank you so much. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night. Okay. The last monologue is Viola Davis as Rose Maxson in the film directed by Denzel Washington called Fences. I've been standing with you. I've been right here with you, Troy. I got a life too. I gave several years of my life to stand in the same spot with you. Don't you think I ever wanted other things? Don't you think I had dreams and hopes? What about my life? What about me? Don't you think you'd ever cross my mind to want to know other men? That I wanted to lay up somewhere and forget about my responsibilities? That I wanted someone to make me laugh so I could feel good? You're not the only one who got wants and needs. But I held on to you, Troy. I took all my feelings, my wants and needs and dreams, and I buried them inside of you. I planted a seed and I waited and I prayed over it. I planted myself inside of you and waited to bloom. And it didn't take me no 18 years to find out that the soil was hard and rocky and it was never going to bloom. But I held on to you, Troy. I held you tighter. You was my husband. I owed you everything I had, every part of me I could find to give to you. And upstairs in that room, with the darkness falling in on me, I gave everything I had to try and erase the doubt that you wasn't the finest man in the world. And wherever you was going, I wanted to be there with you. 'Cause you was my husband. 'Cause that's the only way I was going to survive as your wife. You always talking about what you give and what you don't have to give. But you take too. You take. And don't even know that nobody's giving.